If you've just had a baby and you assume that you cannot get pregnant soon after giving birth, you are wrong. That is in fact incorrect, because up to 44% of women will ovulate before their first period. And there is no way of knowing when your first period is going to happen after having a baby. You might assume, actually, if I'm breastfeeding, that I can't get pregnant. That's also wrong. I have a video detailing exactly why that's wrong. In this video, I want to talk to you, especially if you don't want to get pregnant, how you can take steps to prevent that, what options you have, and how you can decide when and if you have more children. I'm Remy, I'm an obstetrics and gynecology doctor with over 10 years of experience. I'm also a mother of two, and I am passionate about education around the pregnancy and postpartum space, not just for women like you, but also for systems that govern the care that women receive. So if that's your bag, subscribe to this channel. Like I've already said, fertility will often come back sooner than you think. Women who are breastfeeding have thought that if I'm breastfeeding exclusively, that I'm less likely to get pregnant. But that's not necessarily true. I remember seeing a patient who was very emphatic about the fact that 6 weeks after every baby she'd had, her periods would return, despite the fact that she was breastfeeding. So that meant that whatever her hormones were doing, it wasn't suppressing her cycles enough. It wasn't suppressing ovulation enough. And if she didn't use contraception, she could then become pregnant and be having another baby. So that's really important. And in clinical settings, I will often speak to women who've just had a baby and been like, have you thought about contraception? And they'll be like, I'm gonna think about it some more, I'll decide at 6 weeks, but I'm definitely not coming back. Everybody says they're definitely not coming back. Do you know who I see coming back? Women. People who tell me they're not coming back, then a year later, they're coming back with a baby, typically unplanned. If you are planning on having a 1 year age gap, then this video might not be for you. But if you're someone who wants a 3 year, 4 year age gap, then keep watching, because I am going to go through the different types of contraception that you can use in the postpartum period, when you can use them, how you can use them, so that you can better space your families. The World Health Organization and a lot of guidance out there suggests that the best time to have a baby after having had a baby is a gap of 18 to 24 months. So that's from completion of pregnancy to conception of the next pregnancy. And that's where it's safest for both the baby and the unborn child. If you're getting pregnant within 6 months of having had a baby, that pregnancy is often at risk of having a smaller baby, miscarriage, preterm birth, and any of these other complications. And consequently, like again, I've touched on a video that I'll link here. If you're having a baby more than 5 years or 10 years after your last baby, that can also be associated with risk. So it's not about trying to police how many kids you have or when you have them. It's just about how can you do it in a way that's safe for not just you, but also the baby and also the baby that's to come, you know, your whole family. I wonder if there was a tool that could tell you specifically when your fertility returned after having a baby, wouldn't that just be useful? Like, we've got all these wearables. I mean, I've got an Aura ring. Wouldn't it just be useful to know that, say you're a new mum breastfeeding, looking after your baby, and then you get a ping, you are ovulating. Ping, your period will be coming back in 3 months' time. Like, that would be so useful. And then you would know specifically when you are able to conceive and what you can do if you do not want to conceive. And I do think that the system is partly to blame. So for instance, if I think about the antenatal service and where I see women, there's often so many things to go through. Contraception can sometimes then become a tick box and it gets missed. It becomes the thing that gets pushed to the bottom of the barrel. And then when the woman's going home with a newborn, there are so many things again that can be discussed, like how are they going to breastfeed? Are they struggling with breastfeeding? Is there wound healing? Is there blood pressure low? That again, contraception can often fall down to the wayside. So it is something that I will often bring up. And then when I say, have you thought about your contraception? What I often hear back is, I'm not sure which one's for me. I'm going to have a think. I'll go home. I'll go to the family planning clinic in 6 weeks. And do you know what actually happens in reality is that you go home and then you're busy because you have a baby and then you've not slept well. And then 6 weeks comes and goes and you're probably feeling up to having sex with your partner again. And then you resume sexual activity and can get pregnant at any time, unless you don't want to. And if you don't want to, what can you do about it? So contraception largely falls into two categories. You've got hormonal and you've got non-hormonal. And within hormonal, you've got the things that are like tablets and shorter acting. And then you've got things that are long-acting reversible contraception. So the non-hormonal will be something like the copper IUD that can stay in for 5 to 10 years, or a condom, or the female condom, or a diaphragm. Anything that stops the sperm and the egg meeting would be a barrier / non-hormonal contraception. Under hormonal, you could split it into long-acting or shorter acting, or you can split it into having estrogen only or estrogen and progesterone. And I actually have another channel. It's called Remy's Room, which is more of a diary about my life and how I tackle being a doctor. I actually do have a video on contraception, and I do go into it in a bit more detail, and you might like how I've presented it there versus here, so go and check it out. So going with the estrogen and progesterone ones first. To be suitable for that, you have to have met certain criteria. So by and large, having estrogen and progesterone combined as a contraceptive has a slightly higher risk of other things. So like having blood clots in the legs or the lungs, we've got a video about that. And especially after pregnancy and the postpartum period, that risk is higher. So what you then don't want to do is make that even higher by adding on a pill. 3 weeks to 6 weeks after having a baby, depending on if you're breastfeeding or not, that might be a suitable option for you to have, but it's not something you can start straight away. And under that, you can have the pill, so you have it every day. You could have a patch that you change every week, or you can have a ring that sits in the vagina for 3 weeks at a time. So again, after having a baby, having anything in the vagina could be a source of infection, especially if you've had any cuts or tears and have stitches. So that wouldn't be something that you want to have straight away. And probably there are options that you could consider 6 weeks after having had the baby. And then under the progesterone only ones, you've got the pill, but you've also got the implant that sits under the arm. You've got the coil that sits inside the uterus, or you've got the depot injections that you get every 12 weeks. And so again, depending on your medical history, how well you are, those options can largely be done at the time of the delivery. So having a Mirena coil, you could have a coil put into the uterus as soon as the baby comes out, if there is a skilled person that knows how to do it. And then often you would get the coil threads checked at 6 weeks to make sure it's still in place. Or we could do it at cesarean section as well. So if I'm seeing a patient who's having a cesarean section, asking them before they're being consented, is this something that you would like? And then you could either put the hormonal coil or the non-hormonal coil at the time of the cesarean section. And again, check the threads in 6 weeks to make sure that it's still there. And the implant you can put as soon as they've had the baby, just put it under the arm. And that, I think, takes a lot of pressure off women, because then you're then going home with something that you know will last for 3 to 5 years and you don't have to think about it again. And that's something that you want to know before you get to hospital. In a lot of units, you can get it done at the same time. So it's definitely something worth considering. And those ones, like I said, you can have sort of fairly straight away. The pill you could have, but again, you're going home, you're going to be busy, you're going to be doing so many other things. Like, are you going to remember to take a pill every day at the same time? Doubtful. And if you don't take it at the same time every day, there is again a chance that you could get pregnant. So it's about picking wisely. And also there are natural methods. I guess that would be the third group. And that would be fertility-based awareness. So like, do you know your body? Do you know when you're ovulating? Things like that. And the reason why I wouldn't necessarily pick this as a top choice after having had a baby is that you don't know, like I said, when your periods are going to come back. So you don't know when you're going to be ovulating. And without that information, it's going to be really hard to predict when you have a chance of conceiving or not. So yeah, it's being aware of that. The other thing that could work is the lactational amenorrhea method. So if you exclusively breastfeed and regularly breastfeed, what you do is the hormones will suppress your ovulation and will suppress your periods. But there are caveats to that, like I've mentioned in the previous video. The caveats sort of include, have your periods come back? Are you mixed feeding? Has the feeding dropped? And any of those things will trigger your hormones to wake up and potentially cause you to ovulate even before you have a period. So again, you could miss that window. I'm a baby that was conceived when my mum thought she was safe. She had my older sister. By my calculations, my older sister would have been 4 months old and my mum was breastfeeding, but I think she was mixed feeding, and she felt that because her periods didn't come back, she was fine. And her periods never came back. I came instead. There are risks to that method and you just have to really be aware. And obviously there's nothing wrong if your plan is to grow your family and have more kids. Only the evidence says if it's in that first 6 months, it could be slightly riskier. There's nothing wrong if you choose, but if you're not choosing, then choose contraception and control it, control when you have that next baby. Doing what it is that you want to do is most important. Honestly, if you're planning another baby, don't watch this video. But if you're like, I really don't want another one, I am one and done, or I want another one in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, there are things that you can take to make that definitely more sure. Even when you're making that decision of how soon do I have that next baby, use the data that you've had from this last pregnancy. Did you have high blood pressure? Did you have diabetes? Were you probably a little bit too heavy through the pregnancy? What changes can you make in the next year or 2 years that prep you for being completely super healthy at your next pregnancy? Like, that's the kind of way that you should be thinking and reflecting in and amongst the breastfeeding and the washing and the laundry and the sleepless nights. There's so many things to consider, but use the data from your most recent pregnancy to determine how you want your future pregnancy to go. And in the interim, make those changes. And whilst you're making those changes, consider contraception so that you enter your next pregnancy as healthy as you could possibly be. You deserve to choose when you get pregnant next. You've done all the hard work, so you deserve to choose. And information gives you choice. And that's what this video is, to detail the information around contraception so that you can make a choice about when to have a baby. I've done videos on birth gap and birth spacing, as well as like breastfeeding as a form of contraception, and definitely go and watch those next to give you more information on this topic. But if you've just had a baby, what contraception did you go home with? So after my second, at 6 weeks, I'd restarted the combined oral contraceptive patch and then moved on to having the vaginal ring. So that has always been my contraception of choice. But what have you used? What side effects did you have with it? Did you like it? Drop it in the comments down below so someone else can learn. And if it's content that you like, education for pregnancy, postpartum, and beyond, you want to subscribe to this channel and join my waitlist. Until next time.